Imagine scrolling through Instagram on an ordinary evening, your thumb lazily flicking past selfies, vacation snaps, and food pictures, when suddenly, one post stops you cold. It's Rasheeda Frost, looking flawless as always, but her caption isn't the usual motivational quote or fashion promo. No, this one feels different. It's raw, it's vulnerable, it's about Kirk. And in a matter of minutes, the internet goes into a frenzy. Fans are shocked, blogs are buzzing, even other love and hip-hop stars are chiming in. Did Rasheeda just confess she still has feelings for Kirk after everything they've been through? Or was it a cryptic goodbye? The family was left divided, friends whispered in group chats, and emotions ran high in comment sections across social media. The post wasn't just a photoette, was a grenade lobbed straight into the heart of Atlanta's reality TV drama. "Sometimes love doesn't die, it just changes," she wrote, followed by a broken heart emoji and a diamond ring. Within seconds, followers started piecing it together. Was she hinting at reconciliation? Was she shading Kirk for breaking her heart? Or was this Rasheeda playing with fans' emotions to drop a bombshell announcement? Whatever it was, one thing was clear: her words carried the weight of years of betrayal, forgiveness, and scars that never fully healed. And the timing couldn't have been more suspicious. Rumors of Kirk being spotted late at night with another woman had already been circling. Jasmine Washington, the name that still makes Rasheeda's blood boil, had been dropping cryptic hints of her own. The streets of Atlanta were buzzing with gossip, and now Rasheeda's post poured gasoline on an already raging fire. Fans didn't just want answers, they demanded them. Has Rasheeda forgiven Kirk? Is she still in love with the man who broke her heart? Or is this the final chapter in a story that has dragged on for years? Stay tuned, because what came next shook everyone to the core. Rasheeda's post might have looked like just another Instagram caption to outsiders, but for those who have followed her rollercoaster of a marriage with Kirk, it was like opening an old wound that never truly healed. People immediately began dissecting every word, every emoji, every hidden meaning. For years, their marriage had been on public display dust by scandals, betrayals, tears, and countless attempts at reconciliation. And just when fans thought the dust had finally settled, Rasheeda went and dropped a bomb that reignited every old flame of speculation. That night, the comments section under her post became a battlefield. Some fans begged her to walk away for good, calling Kirk toxic and unworthy. Others swore she still loved him deeply and admired her strength for trying to hold her family together despite the pain. But behind closed doors, Rasheeda wasn't scrolling casually through comments. She was staring at her phone, heart pounding, knowing she had set something in motion that she could never take back. When Kirk saw the post, he froze. He was at his lounge, surrounded by a few friends and music playing low in the background. Someone shoved the phone in his face with wide eyes. "Bro, you seen this?" He read the caption once, then twice, his throat tightening. He knew Rasheeda too well. She wasn't the type to post something vague for clout. If she put her heart out there, it meant she was wrestling with emotions too heavy to say out loud in person. For a man who had spent years making promises and breaking them, it was a reminder that her forgiveness had limits. But Kirk being Kirk, he refused to show weakness in front of his friends. He laughed it off, tossed the phone on the bar counter, and said, "Y'all read too much into that. She just trying to stir the pot." Yet, later that night, when the laughter faded and he was alone in his car, the weight of her words hit him hard. Meanwhile, the ripple effects of Rasheeda's post spread beyond her household. Yandy Smith was one of the first to notice, and she didn't hesitate to comment publicly, "Sis, sometimes strength is walking away." That comment alone lit a firestorm. Fans saw it as Yandy throwing shade directly at Kirk, while others believed she was subtly encouraging Rasheeda to finally close the chapter. Within hours, other Love and Hip Hop castmates jumped in. Carly Red reposted Rasheeda's picture with a string of side-eye emojis, clearly hinting she knew more than what was being said. Spice went live, telling her followers that these men think they untouchable. But when a queen speaks, you better listen. But the real twist came when Jasmine Washington herself popped up. Late that night, she posted a selfie on her story with the caption, "Funny how the truth always comes out." No names, no details, just enough to send fans spiraling into speculation. Was Jasmine hinting that Rasheeda's post was about Kirk sneaking around again? Or was she just stirring chaos for attention? Whatever the case, it worked. Screenshots of Jasmine's story flooded Twitter, paired with fiery debates about whether Kirk was repeating history. At home, the tension was unbearable. Rasheeda had been pacing back and forth in her bedroom, her phone buzzing nonstop. She ignored calls from producers, from friends, even from Kelsey, her daughter, who wanted to know what was happening. Kirk finally walked through the door around midnight. The silence was heavy as he stepped into the room, his eyes avoiding hers. "So, that's what we doin' now? Posting subliminals for the world to see." His voice was calm but edged with irritation. Rasheeda spun around, her eyes blazing. "Don't play dumb, Kirk. You know exactly why I wrote that. I'm tired of pretending like everything's fine when it's not. I'm tired of carrying the weight of this marriage alone." Kirk threw up his hands. "Here we go again. Every time somebody whispers my name in the streets, you act like I'm guilty before you even talk to me." Rasheeda's voice cracked, filled with frustration. "Because you've given me 1,000 reasons not to trust you. Every rumor, every late-night text, every time you lied straight to my face, can't unlive those moments. And now, when I feel something, when I'm hurting, I can't even share it without you making me out to be the villain." The argument spilled through the house, words bouncing off walls as emotions ran high. Neither of them noticed their son poking his head out of his room, his young face etched with confusion. This wasn't the first time he had seen his parents clash, but there was something different tonight. There was a finality in Rasheeda's tone. A breaking point Kirk hadn't taken seriously before. By the next morning, Atlanta was buzzing. The blogs ran headlines like "Rasheeda finally done with Kirk," and "Is this the end of the Frosts?" Talk shows dissected the Instagram post on air, and fans recorded heated reactions on TikTok, racking up millions of views. Outside their house, cameras lingered, waiting for a glimpse of Rasheeda leaving with suitcases or Kirk storming off in his car. Producers from Love and Hip Hop called nonstop, already envisioning how to spin the storyline into the upcoming season. But what no one knew yet was that this was just the beginning, because Rasheeda wasn't done speaking, and Kirk wasn't ready to let go without a fight. That afternoon, Rasheeda shocked everyone again by going live. Her followers piled in instantly, tens of thousands watching as she sat in her boutique. Her makeup flawless but her eyes heavy with emotion. She didn't waste time. "I know y'all been speculating, running with stories, but let me be clear. I love my family. I love my kids. And yes, I'll always care about Kirk. But love doesn't erase the pain. Love doesn't fix broken trust. Sometimes, love just isn't enough." Her voice trembled on the last words, and fans flooded the chat with heart emojis and cries of support. Kirk, watching from his phone in another room of the house, felt his chest tighten. He stormed into the boutique minutes later, cameras already outside capturing the scene as fans screamed from across the street. "Why you airing our business out here like this?" he snapped, his voice echoing in the boutique. Rasheeda stood her ground. "Because keeping quiet hasn't changed a damn thing. People need to know I'm human. They need to know I'm not some robot who just takes your mistakes and keeps smiling." The standoff was raw, messy, and utterly captivating, and the fans couldn't get enough. They replayed clips, analyzed every look, every word, every shaky breath. Rasheeda had cracked open her heart in front of the world, and Kirk was left standing in the ruins, unsure whether to fight for her or finally accept defeat. But as the chaos swirled around them, one thing became certain: this wasn't a story that would fade quietly. The storm had only begun, and no one, not even Rasheeda, could predict where it would end. The tension in that boutique spilled into the streets, and it was like Atlanta itself was holding its breath. Fans who had crowded outside weren't just spectators, they were witnesses to a marriage unraveling in real time. Phones were up, recording every second, their screams mixing with car horns and the chatter of bloggers live streaming from the sidewalk. Rasheeda's hands shook, but she held her ground. Kirk's voice rose above the noise, his words sharp, desperate. "You act like I'm the only one who made mistakes. Like I ain't sacrificed for this family, for you." Rasheeda's reply cut through the chaos. "Sacrifices? Don't talk to me about sacrifices when every choice you made left me bleeding." The crowd gasped. Fans were shocked, emotions ran high, and the family was left divided in the eyes of the public. Back inside, producers had already scrambled. Love and Hip Hop cameras rushed to the scene, knowing this was gold they couldn't afford to miss. Carly Red slipped through the boutique door, her face full of fake concern but her phone recording the whole time. "Sis, you don't gotta do this here," she whispered loudly enough for everyone to hear. Kirk turned on her instantly. "Carly, stay out of my marriage." But Carly, being Carly, she didn't back down. "If you cared so much about your marriage, maybe you wouldn't be in this mess." That one line set social media ablaze. Clips of Carly's jab were posted everywhere, and by the time the sun set, hashtags like #RASHEEDA speaks, #Kirk exposed, and hashtag KARLIE said it were trending worldwide. Meanwhile, Jasmine Washington wasn't about to let the spotlight pass her by. Within hours of the boutique drama, she went live herself. Sitting in her car with the Atlanta skyline glowing behind her, she smirked and dropped a bombshell. "All I'ma say is this: when a man shows you who he is, believe him. Don't come for me. Don't blame me. I ain't the only one who's been lied to." The comments exploded. Fans accused her of reigniting old wounds, while others swore she was hinting that Kirk had been creeping again, this time with someone new. Who is she talking about? Became the question of the night, sparking conspiracy theories that spread faster than wildfire. Home. Rasheeda and Kirk's kids were caught in the crossfire. Kelsey, frustrated and embarrassed, posted on Twitter, "Y'all don't know what goes on behind closed doors. Please stop dragging my family like it's entertainment." But her plea only fueled more gossip. Fans dissected her words, debating whether she was defending Kirk or silently siding with her mother. Even celebrities chimed in. Tamar Braxton tweeted, "Chilly, this tea is hotter than my kettle," while 50 Cent joked, "Put me in the next season. I'll fix this marriage myself." The next morning, Kirk tried damage control. He went live in his car, his tone defensive but carefully measured. "Look, me and Rasheeda been through ups and downs. Ain't nothing new. But don't let these blogs twist what's going on. That's still my wife. That's still my queen. And I ain't letting nobody break us apart." Some fans bought the performance, but others weren't convinced. The comments flooded with people calling him a manipulator, a liar, even a narcissist. One fan wrote, "If she's your queen, why's she crying on live while you at the lounge?" That single comment went viral, shared on Instagram pages and Twitter threads as proof that Kirk's words didn't match his actions. Back at the Frost household, the walls felt thinner than ever. Rasheeda sat in her room, scrolling through the chaos, her stomach churning. Her boutique had become a battlefield, her live had become a headline, and her marriage had become a circus act once again. Her phone buzzed. Yandi calling. She hesitated before answering. Yandi's voice was calm but firm. "Sis, I watched the live. You can't keep bleeding in front of the world. Either you close this chapter or you take the power back. But don't let Kirk write your story for you." Rasheeda's eyes filled with tears. "What if I still love him, Yandi? What if that's the problem?" And that was the question nobody wanted to face. Does love mean staying, even when trust is gone? Or does love mean walking away before you lose yourself completely? Fans debated it all over social media, friends picked sides, and even the Frost family was torn. Rasheeda's mother, Shirley, called her with a stern warning. "Baby, you better stop letting him embarrass you. A man who breaks you down ain't a man worth holding on to." Rasheeda stayed silent, because deep down, she knew her mother was right, but her heart still betrayed her. And as the drama reached a fever pitch, everyone wondered, would Rasheeda finally close the book on Kirk? Or was this Instagram post the start of another painful chapter in a story that refuses to end? The storm was only getting louder. Fans wanted answers, and the streets of Atlanta were ready for the next explosion. And just when people thought the dust might settle, another twist was already brewing, one that would drag everyone deeper into the chaos. By the time the weekend hit, the Frost drama had become more than gossip. It was a full-blown spectacle, the kind you couldn't escape no matter how hard you tried. Every Atlanta lounge, every barbershop, every nail salon had the same conversation looping. Did Rasheeda still love Kirk, or was this the end of a 2-decade-long saga? The boutiques on Peters Street blasted clips of her live on their flat screens. Uber drivers argued with their passengers about whether Kirk deserved another chance. Even church mothers whispered about it in the pews, shaking their heads as if they had personally lived through the betrayal. Fans were shocked, emotions ran high, and the family was left divided like never before. The producers of Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta smelled blood in the water. They called Rasheeda nonstop, dangling the promise of a special 2-part reunion episode centered entirely around her marriage crisis. At first, she ignored them, but by Sunday evening, she sat in her boutique office, staring at the contract on her desk. It wasn't just money, it was a chance to finally control the narrative. Yet signing meant putting her pain back on display for millions to watch. She whispered to herself, "Do I even have the strength to do this again?" Meanwhile, Kirk was playing a different game. He reached out to the blogs directly, offering exclusive interviews in exchange for telling his side. Sitting in the back room of his lounge, sipping on Hennessy, he told a blogger, "People think they know me, but they don't know the sacrifices I made for my family." Rasheeda posted what she posted. "That hurt me too, but I'll be damned if folks think I don't love my wife." His voice cracked for a moment, but whether it was genuine emotion or just strategy, No one could tell. The clip went viral anyway, and fans dissected every flicker of his expression, arguing whether he was sincere or simply desperate to salvage his image. And then came Jasmine. She couldn't resist the spotlight. On Monday night, she uploaded a photo of herself at a candlelit dinner with the caption, "Some people can't let go, even when they should." The timing was too perfect, too sharp to be accidental. Fans flooded her comments, tagging Kirk and Rasheeda, demanding answers. Was she hinting that Kirk had been reaching out to her again? Or was she just throwing gasoline on a fire she hadn't started but loved to watch burn? The Frost kids weren't immune to the chaos either. Kelsey, trying to protect her mother's dignity, made a cryptic Instagram post. "Strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the silence that screams the most." Her words hit hard, and fans applauded her for being mature beyond her years. But Kirk's other children weren't so diplomatic. His son from a previous relationship went live, his voice angry and raw. "Everybody out here dragging my dad like y'all perfect. He ain't perfect, but he's still my father. And no matter what y'all say, he ain't leaving Rasheeda. Period." The live spread like wildfire. Splitting fans even further. Was this loyalty or just denial? Back in Rasheeda's world, the pressure weighed heavy. Late at night, alone in her bedroom, she scrolled through old pictures, wedding photos, family vacations, the birth of their children. Every smile was real, but so was every tear behind it. Her phone buzzed again. This time, it was Mimi Faust. "Girl," Mimi said, her voice low but filled with fire, "you can't keep letting him pull you back. We've been here too many times. You're stronger than this. Don't let him drag you down just because you scared to let go." Rasheeda closed her eyes, whispering, "But what if letting go means I'm the one who failed?" Atlanta wasn't letting up. Talk radio hosts debated her marriage like it was breaking news. Paparazzi camped outside her boutique, snapping pictures of every car that pulled into the parking lot. Even fans started visiting in person, pretending to shop but really hoping to catch a glimpse of her. Maybe overhear a conversation, maybe witness another explosive argument. One young fan shouted, "Rasheeda, Queen, we got your back," as she walked out, and though she smiled faintly, inside she was drowning. The pressure mounted when Love and Hip Hop producers cornered Kirk with an ultimatum: film a confessional about Rasheeda's post or risk being cut from the show entirely. He agreed, but his words stirred more trouble than peace. Sitting in front of the camera, he sighed and said, "Yeah, I heard her. I ain't proud of it, but y'all act like love just disappears when mistakes happen. I'll never stop loving Rasheeda, even if she stopped loving me." That clip leaked before it even aired, and fans erupted. Some called it beautiful, others manipulative, and the divide grew even sharper. By midweek, Rasheeda found herself at yet another crossroads. A late-night text from Kirk read simply, "Can we talk?" She stared at it, her chest heavy, her fingers hovering over the keyboard. She knew that whatever she chose to do next, answer him or ignore him, would set the stage for the next chapter. And just like that, the world leaned closer, waiting, watching, desperate to see which path Rasheeda would take. The storm hadn't passed. In fact, it was about to hit harder than ever. And when the next blow came, it wouldn't just rattle the Frosts, it would shake the entire Love and Hip Hop family to its core. Rasheeda didn't answer Kirk's text that night, but she barely slept. Her phone buzzed non-stop with notifications, blogs tagging her, fans flooding her DMs, friends checking in with "You good, sis?" By dawn, the city was already humming with speculation. TMZ-style blogs were running stories like "Rasheeda Frost moves out, suitcases spotted at boutique back door." The pictures were grainy, but that didn't stop people from believing she had packed up to leave Kirk. By the time she opened her boutique that morning, a swarm of fans had gathered outside, phones raised, ready to catch any glimpse of drama. Inside, Rasheeda kept her head down, unpacking new arrivals for her store, but her hands shook every time her phone lit up. Finally, she broke and dialed Yandy. "Girl, I don't know what to do. I feel like the whole world is watching me crack." Yandy's voice was firm but warm. "Let them watch. You got a platform, and you can either let it crush you or use it. Right now, everybody hanging on your words. The power is in your hands." Rasheeda sighed. Power don't feel like power when your heart's still in pieces. Meanwhile, Kirk wasn't staying quiet. He showed up at the boutique without warning, cameras lurking outside, catching every move. He walked in with flowers and a look that screamed desperation. "Rasheeda, we need to talk. Off camera, just me and you." But Rasheeda's walls were up. "You can't just show up here with flowers like it erases years of pain, Kirk." He put the bouquet down on the counter. "I ain't trying to erase nothing. I'm trying to fix it." She glared. "Fix it? or fix your image. Their voices rose, the staff froze, and one brave employee locked the boutique door, knowing the scene would be chaos if fans poured in. But somehow, word still leaked. Within an hour, shaky cell phone footage of Kirk and Rasheeda's argument was circulating online. In the clip, Kirk's voice cracked as he said, "I'll never stop fighting for us," while Rasheeda snapped back, "Sometimes love ain't enough, Kirk." That one line went viral. Memes popped up instantly, fans quoting it as if it were a scripted reality TV tagline. Twitter threads debated what "love ain't enough" really meant. Was it foreshadowing divorce papers? Or was Rasheeda simply venting raw pain? As if the storm wasn't raging enough, Jasmine Washington poured gasoline on it. That evening, she went live, sipping wine and smirking into the camera. "Everybody keep asking me if Kirk hit me up. I ain't no homewrecker. But let's just say some people can't keep their DMIs clean." The comment section exploded. Fans spammed Kirk's name, demanding answers. Screenshots, real or fake, began circulating. ALLEGEDLY, showing Kirk sending Jasmine late-night messages like, "You know I still think about you." Whether they were doctored or not, didn't matter. The internet believed, and the chaos doubled. The Frost kids found themselves drowning in the fallout. Kelsey broke down on her Instagram story, her eyes swollen from crying. "This ain't fun for us. Y'all treating my family like a soap opera, but this is my real life. My mama hurting, my daddy in the blogs, and I'm sick of it." Fans shared her video widely, many offering support, but some cruelly dismissing her feelings as collateral damage of fame. Rasheeda's mother, Shirley, had had enough. She stormed into the Frost house that weekend, her voice shaking the walls. "Baby, I told you before, and I'll say it again, he ain't gone change. Kirk gone drag you down till there's nothing left. You better stand up and choose yourself." Kirk fired back from the kitchen doorway, "With all due respect, Ms. Shirley, this between me and my wife." But Shirley didn't flinch. "That's my daughter, and I'll always protect her. You lost the right to call the shots a long time ago." The room fell into tense silence, emotions thick enough to choke on. Outside that house, the media circus only grew louder. Love and Hip Hop producers announced a special mid-season taping, The Frost Reckoning. Fans went wild, lining up for tickets, desperate to witness the showdown live. On social media, people placed bets on whether Rasheeda would finally file for divorce on camera, or whether Kirk would pull off another shocking plea that left her torn. As the taping date drew closer, Rasheeda stared at her reflection in the mirror, trying to summon strength. For years, she had been the quiet warrior put together, smiling through pain, holding the family together even when it crumbled behind closed doors. But this time felt different. This wasn't just about Kirk. This was about her identity, her dignity, her future. She whispered to herself, "Am I holding on to him, or am I holding on to the woman I used to be?" And as the cameras prepared to roll, Atlanta braced itself, because when the Frosts walked onto that stage, the truth would no longer be whispered in comments or hinted in captions. It would be shouted, raw and unfiltered, under the blinding lights where everyone could see. And no matter what was said, life after that taping would never be the same. The night of the taping arrived, and the energy in the studio was electric. Fans packed the audience seats, buzzing like it was a championship game. The stage was set with plush chairs, dramatic lighting, and a backdrop that read The Frost Reckoning. The producers had hyped this up like it was the showdown of the decade. And judging by the crowd's anticipation, they had delivered. When Rasheeda walked out first, dressed in a sleek black dress with diamond accents, the audience erupted into applause and cheers. She smiled faintly, waving, but her eyes told a different story, nervous, heavy, conflicted. Seconds later, Kirk entered, wearing a tailored suit and trying to mask his unease with a confident grin. The crowd booed and clapped in equal measure, the division in the room palpable. The host wasted no time. "Rasheeda, Kirk, the world's been watching." That Instagram post shook everyone, and the fallout hasn't stopped since. "Tonight, we're here for answers." The audience leaned forward, hungry. Rasheeda took a breath before speaking, her voice steady but trembling at the edges. "What I posted came from my heart. I wasn't trying to start drama. I wasn't trying to embarrass nobody. I was just tired of pretending. I love my family, but love doesn't erase betrayal. It doesn't heal wounds overnight." The crowd murmured in sympathy, some even clapping in support. Kirk quickly jumped in. "And I get that. I know I messed up. I've said it 1,000 times. But at what point do we stop dragging the past and start focusing on the future? I ain't perfect, but I've been here. I ain't left. I fought to keep us together." Rasheeda shot him a piercing look. "Fought, Kirk, Half the battles we fought were because of you. Gasps rippled through the audience. The host fanned the flames. So, Kirk, are you saying you've been faithful since the last scandal? The room went silent, waiting. Kirk hesitated for a beat too long. Yes, he finally said, but his eyes darted away, and the crowd instantly reacted. Boos, laughter, and shouts of liar filled the air. As if on cue, the producers pulled out a bombshell. Well, Kirk, Jasmine Washington had something to say about that. Suddenly, Jasmine appeared on the big screen behind them in a pre-recorded video. Sitting in her car with that same sly smirk, she said, "Look, I ain't here to ruin nobody's marriage, but let's be real. When a man texts you at 2 a.m. saying he misses the good times, that don't sound like a faithful husband to me." The crowd erupted, half screaming, half gasping, phones flying up to capture the moment. Rasheeda's face froze, her body stiff as stone. "What texts?" she demanded, turning to Kirk. He stammered, she twisting it. "I was just saying," but Rasheeda cut him off, her voice sharp as a blade. Don't you dare stand here and play me in front of the world again." The studio turned into chaos. The audience was on their feet, shouting. Some yelled for Rasheeda to walk out, others chanted receipts. Receipts. The host scrambled to regain control, but the drama had already taken on a life of its own. Carly Red, seated in the front row as a guest commentator, seized the moment. "See, I've been saying this for years. Once a cheater, always a cheater." The crowd roared, while Kirk glared at her. "Carly, you live for this mess. Stay in your lane." Carly smirked. "This is my lane." Rasheeda's hands shook as she pulled her phone from her clutch, furiously scrolling. The cameras zoomed in as she found Jasmine's screenshots circulating online. There they were, messages, allegedly from Kirk, time-stamped, with his profile picture clearly visible. Her breath hitched. The audience hushed, waiting for her reaction. She stood up, holding the phone high. This right here is why I can't trust you. This is why I posted what I posted. Because no matter how much I love you, Kirk, you keep proving to me that love ain't enough." The crowd went wild, some standing on chairs, screaming Rasheeda's name like she was a champion in a boxing ring. Kirk buried his face in his hands. For once, the usually smooth-talking Frost had no comeback. The host leaned in, voice dripping with tension. "Rasheeda, are you saying this is the end? That your marriage is over?" The cameras caught every flicker of her face as she looked at Kirk, then out at the crowd, then straight into the lens. Her eyes glassy but unyielding. "I'm saying I deserve better. And maybe it's finally time I choose myself." The studio exploded. Fans screamed, cried, cheered. On social media, clips were uploaded instantly with captions like "Rasheeda finally leaves Kirk live on stage," and "The Queen has spoken." Backstage, producers scrambled to prepare for fallout, knowing they had just captured reality TV history. But for Rasheeda, it wasn't about TV anymore. It was about freedom, about reclaiming her voice in a story that had held her hostage for years. As she walked off stage, tears streaming, the audience chanting her name, Kirk sat slumped in his chair, looking smaller than he ever had before. And though the cameras followed Rasheeda, the question hanging in the air was clear. Would this really be the end, or just another painful pause in the endless Frost saga? And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any messier, a figure was spotted backstage, waiting for Rasheeda, someone no one expected to see. Someone whose presence would twist the knife even deeper. The next chapter of this drama was already knocking, and fans everywhere could feel the storm rising again. Backstage after the taping, the atmosphere was nothing short of explosive. The crowd was still chanting Rasheeda's name in the main studio, their voices bleeding through the walls like the echoes of a revolution. The producers scrambled, phones glued to their ears, negotiating with network executives who already saw dollar signs flashing in their heads. But in the dimly lit hallway, Rasheeda stood with her back against the wall, trying to catch her breath, her mascara smudged, her heart racing. She clutched her phone like a lifeline, the reality of what had just happened crashing over her in waves. For years, she had been the one holding the Frost empire together, balancing motherhood, her boutique, the show, the constant betrayals. Tonight, for the first time, she had walked away from Kirk in front of the entire world. But then came the twist no one saw coming. As Rasheeda dabbed her tears with a tissue, a familiar figure stepped out of the shadows backstage. It wasn't Carly or Yandi. It wasn't Mimi or Spice. It was Logan. The man Jasmine had once claimed could be her son's father, the ghost from the early days of the Frost drama. The sight of him froze Rasheeda in place. "Logan," she whispered, her voice low, stunned. He gave her a slow nod, his face serious, his eyes heavy with something she couldn't place. "We need to talk," he said firmly. The producer's ears perked up instantly. A cameraman rushed forward, already filming. Rasheeda's hand shot up. "Turn that camera off," she snapped, her voice raw. But Logan shook his head. "Nah, let them roll. If Kirk gets to drag you in public, then the truth deserves to come out the same way." Rasheeda blinked, her breath caught in her throat. "What truth?" she asked. Logan leaned in closer. "The truth about Jasmine, about those messages, about who's been playing who all along." The words hit Rasheeda like a slap. Her heart, already fragile from the stage confrontation, lurched into panic. "Don't play games with me tonight, Logan. Not tonight." But Logan wasn't flinching. He pulled out his phone, scrolling with deliberate slowness before holding the screen in front of her. "You think Kirk's the only one who's been sloppy? Jasmine been playing this whole thing like a chessboard. And I got the receipts." On the phone were screenshots, not of Kirk, but of Jasmine, messaging Logan just weeks earlier. The tone was flirty, suggestive, even taunting. One message read, "He still ain't over me, but neither are you, are you?" Another said, "Sometimes I wonder if it was you all along." Rasheeda's eyes widened, her stomach twisting. Logan's voice was steady, almost bitter. "She's using you, using Kirk, using me, using all of us. And now she's back in the spotlight, making sure you and Kirk tear each other apart while she sits back and sips her wine." For the first time in days, Rasheeda felt something cut through the fog of heartbreaking, pure, burning anger. She snatched the phone, scrolling furiously. "So all this time, while I'm breaking down my life, she's out here playing games, stirring the pot for clout." Logan nodded grimly. "Exactly. And the more y'all fight, the more power she gets. You think them leaked texts just happened to go viral? Nah. Jasmine made sure they got out." The realization struck Rasheeda like lightning. She had been crying over Kirk, mourning her marriage, while Jasmine sat back and orchestrated chaos. But before she could process, Kirk stormed backstage, his tie loose, his face slick with sweat. "Rasheeda, listen," he started, but she cut him off with a glare that could pierce steel. "Don't, not right now." Logan stepped forward, blocking Kirk. "Maybe you should back up, bro. You already did enough damage tonight." Kirk's eyes narrowed. "What the hell are you even doing here?" The tension between them crackled like a live wire. Rasheeda looked from one man to the other, her voice sharp. "That's exactly what I want to know." Logan raised his hands. "I came here because you deserve the truth. She's been lying to everybody, Kirk included. Y'all fighting over scraps of lies while she plays puppet master." Kirk's jaw tightened. He looked at Rasheeda, then at Logan, then back at Rasheeda again. "So now you believe him? The dude who came out of nowhere years ago claiming Jasmine's baby was his. The same dude who vanished when the cameras stopped rolling. And now, suddenly, he back with screenshots. Man, please." But Rasheeda wasn't dismissing it so as her voice was low but firm. "Kirk, I've defended you more times than I can count. I've forgiven you when I shouldn't have. But if there's even a chance that she's been setting us up this whole time, I need to know. I deserve to know." The argument spiraled. The producers leaned into every second, cameras worry, knowing they had struck reality TV gold. The crowd in the main studio, though dismissed, could still hear the shouting echo through the walls. Fans on social media went berserk as word leaked out. Logan spotted backstage with Rasheeda. Kirk and Logan face off. Frost drama explodes again. Within minutes, hashtags like #Logan returns and #Jasmine exposed shot to the top of trending lists. Meanwhile, Jasmine herself was watching from her condo, her glass of red wine trembling in her hand. Her phone lit up with notifications, fans tagging her in posts, demanding answers. She smirked at first, confident in her ability to spin the narrative. But when she saw the headline, "Logan claims Jasmine orchestrated Frost marriage, chaos," her face fell. "Oh hell no," she muttered, pacing her living room. For once, Jasmine was on defense, and that made her dangerous. Backstage, Rasheeda reached her breaking point. She turned on Kirk, her voice trembling with rage and exhaustion. "I don't know who to believe anymore. You, Jasmine, Logan. All I know is I can't keep living like this. Every time I think I find peace, another lie, another betrayal, another game rips it apart. I can't do it, Kirk. I just can't." Her voice cracked, and for the first time, Kirk didn't argue back. He just stood there, staring at the floor, the weight of years pressing down on him. Logan placed a hand gently on Rasheeda's shoulder. "You don't owe anybody your pain anymore. Not him, not her, not me. You deserve better, and deep down, you know it." His words hung in the air like smoke, impossible to ignore. The cameras zoomed in, capturing every flicker of Rasheeda's face as she processed. Tears welled in her eyes again, but this time they weren't just from heartbreak, they were from clarity. She whispered, almost to herself, "Maybe it's finally time I choose me." That sentence echoed louder than any argument, louder than any clapback. It was the moment fans had been waiting for, the line that would be replayed on social media. Set to music, turned into memes and mantras. The audience outside the studio roared as word spread. Fans screamed her name. Cars honked in support, and Twitter exploded with messages of empowerment. Rasheeda choosing herself is the moment of the decade. This is bigger than love and hip-hop, it's history. But even as the world celebrated, the storm was far from over, because Jasmine wasn't about to let her empire of chaos collapse without a fight. By the next morning, she had already scheduled her own live session, teasing the truth y'all ain't ready for. And if the past had taught anyone anything, it was this. When Jasmine Washington opened her mouth, the drama only got messier. The Frost saga wasn't ending, it was evolving, and the next chapter promised betrayals deeper, alliances stranger, and revelations more shocking than anything Atlanta had ever seen before. The following morning, the city of Atlanta felt like it was perched on the edge of a cliff, waiting for Jasmine Washington to speak. She had teased her truth in a post dripping with attitude, an image of herself in a silk robe, hair perfectly laid, holding a wineglass with the caption, 8 p.m., don't be late, I'm done holding back. Screenshots of the post spread like wildfire across Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Fans were buzzing, blogs were salivating, and even mainstream news outlets teased coverage. It wasn't just reality TV gossip anymore. It was an event, the kind that made people cancel dinner plans and charge their phones by 7:45 p.m. Tens of thousands of fans had already queued up in Jasmine's livestream waiting room. Comments flew by. She's about to expose Kirk again. Rasheeda better log in to what receipts she got this time. The anticipation was suffocating. When the clock struck 8, Jasmine appeared on screen, her condo dimly lit, candles flickering in the background for dramatic effect. She took a slow sip of wine, smirked, and let the silence drag until the comments nearly combusted. Then she leaned forward, her voice low and sharp. "Everybody keep acting like I'm the villain in this story, like I'm the reason Kirk and Rasheeda can't keep their house together. But let me tell y'all something. I didn't break that marriage. Kirk did. And Rasheeda let him." The chat exploded, hearts, angry emojis, fire emojis flooding the screen. Jasmine held up her phone, flipping through screenshots, her nails tapping the glass for emphasis. Y'all saw them texts, right? That wasn't no fake. That was Kirk. Begging, talking about how he misses the good times. Talking about how Rasheeda don't understand him anymore. And guess what? That wasn't months ago. That was last week. Gasps echoed through the comments. But she wasn't done. And for everybody saying I made this up, let me be crystal clear. I ain't got nothing to gain by lying. Kirk been in my DMs. Kirk been calling me. Kirk been trying to keep me quiet while he plays Family Man on TV. Y'all really think Rasheeda's Instagram post came out of nowhere? Nah. That was a woman who finally realized she'd been played too. The internet went into meltdown. Within minutes, hashtags like hashtag Jasmine spills tea and hashtag Kirk exposed again topped trending charts. Blogs clipped every second of her live, re-uploading the juiciest moments with captions like Jasmine drags the Frosts and receipts, or manipulation. Fans argued ferociously in the comments. Some believed every word. Others swore Jasmine was clout chasing and twisting the story. But one thing was clear, Jasmine had ripped the wound wide open. Meanwhile, across town, Rasheeda sat in her bedroom, watching the live on her phone, her face pale, her hands trembling. Kelsey burst in, her voice urgent. "Mama, don't watch that mess. She just trying to hurt you." But Rasheeda couldn't tear her eyes away. Every word Jasmine said felt like a dagger. When the live ended, she threw her phone onto the bed, tears welling in her eyes. I can't keep doing this," she whispered. Kirk, on the other hand, went into panic mode. The second Jasmine ended her live, he grabbed his phone and called Rasheeda, but she ignored it. He called again, then finally left a voicemail. His voice was frantic. "Babe, don't believe her. She twisting everything. Yeah, I hit her up, but it wasn't like that. I was just trying to shut her down, keep her from starting drama again. I ain't trying to be with her. You gotta believe me." But the damage was done. The next morning, the Frost household was swarmed by paparazzi. Reporters shouted questions as Rasheeda tried to slip into her car, sunglasses shielding her swollen eyes. Rasheeda, is the marriage over? Did Jasmine tell the truth? Are you filing for divorce? She ignored them all, slamming the car door shut. But the cameras captured her silence. Silence was louder than any answer. Inside his lounge, Kirk tried to rally his friends for support. Young Jock shook his head, his voice stern. Man, I've been telling you, every time you think you can juggle two lives, you end up dropping both. Rasheeda's at her breaking point. She ain't gonna keep saving you. Kirk snapped, his voice cracking. I don't need saving. I just need her to remember who I am. What we built. Jock sighed, almost pitying him. Bro, she remember. That's the problem. She remember everything. Back at her boutique, Rasheeda sat with Yandi Mimi and Spice huddled around her like sisters at war council. Yandi rubbed her shoulder. Sis, Jasmine gonna keep winning as long as y'all keep giving her space in your lives. You need to cut the cord for real this time. Spice chimed in, her voice sharp. Forget him, forget her. Focus on Rasheeda. You a boss. Don't let nobody make you forget that. Mimi nodded, leaning in. The fans are on your side. Don't waste that power. Use it. For the first time, Rasheeda felt something shift inside her. Maybe they were right. Maybe this wasn't just about heartbreak, it was about reclaiming her life, her dignity, her narrative. But even as she started to gather her strength, a producer's call interrupted the moment. Rasheeda, VH1 wants you and Kirk both for a sit-down special. No scripts, no cuts, just raw. They're calling it the last Frost interview. The room fell silent. Rasheeda looked down at her phone, her heart pounding. Was she ready to face Kirk one more time? Not in private, not in whispers, but in front of the entire world. Could she handle the truth if it came out raw and unfiltered? The decision loomed like a storm cloud overhead, and as the announcement spread, fans geared up again. Memes flew, bets were placed, group chats lit up. This is it. This is the finale. But deep down everyone knew. When it came to Kirk and Rasheeda, nothing was ever truly final. The drama always found a way to rise from the ashes. Hotter and messier than before. The cameras were being set. The stage was being built, and the world prepared for one last reckoning. Would Rasheeda finally close the book? Or would the story of the Frosts twist again in ways nobody saw coming? The day of the last Frost interview arrived, like a storm cloud that refused to clear. Atlanta streets buzzed with anticipation, fans lining up outside the studio hours before taping, waving posters that read Team Rasheeda and Free the Queen. Some wore shirts with Jasmine's face printed across the front, BOLD captions, declaring truth teller. The split in loyalty was obvious. The atmosphere tense, almost like a political rally, rather than a reality TV special. Inside, the studio was built like a courtroom, 2 armchairs on opposite ends, a sleek glass table between them, and a host seated dead center, ready to preside over the trial of a marriage. Rasheeda arrived first, gliding in wearing a cream suit that screamed authority but still carried a softness in its flowing lines. Her hair was perfectly styled, her makeup flawless, but behind her eyes was a storm of exhaustion. She hadn't slept much, she hadn't eaten much either. Yet when the cameras flashed, she straightened her back and gave a small smile, determined not to let the world see her crack. Kirk followed 15 minutes later, his suit dark, his face tight with nerves. The boos from the audience were deafening when he walked in, though a small group clapped defiantly, chanting his name like diehard fans who refused to abandon their hero. The host wasted no time. We're here tonight because Rasheeda's Instagram post shook the world, because Jasmine Washington went live and set fire to the internet, and because Kirk Frost stands accused once again of betraying his marriage. Tonight, no producers, no editing, just the truth. Rasheeda, Kirk, are you ready? The air was heavy with silence before Rasheeda spoke, her voice steady. I've been ready for years. Ready for honesty. Ready for respect. Ready for something real. Kirk shifted in his chair, his hands clenched. I came here because I ain't running from this no more. Whatever needs to be said, let's say it. The host leaned in, eyes sharp. Then let's start with the question everyone is asking. Kirk, are Jasmine's claims true? Did you reach out to her last week? Gasps rippled through the audience. Rasheeda's jaw clenched, her eyes boring into him. Kirk's mouth opened, then closed. He sighed, shaking his head. I ain't gonna lie, did reach out. But it wasn't what she's saying. I wasn't trying to hook up. I wasn't trying to start nothing back. I just wanted her to stop. Stop dragging us. Stop using me for clout. Rasheeda's laugh was sharp, bitter. Stop dragging us. Kirk, you the one who gave her the ammo? You the one who keeps handing her the power? Don't sit here and act like she pulling strings out of nowhere. You opened the door. Again, the audience erupted in applause and shouts. Some yelled, "Tell him, Queen," while others booed Kirk louder. The host raised a hand. Kirk, how do you respond to that? Kirk leaned forward, his voice defensive. I made mistakes, I ain't denying that. But Jasmine lying if she's saying, I tried to get back with her. That ain't the truth. The host turned to Rasheeda. Do you believe him? Her silence stretched long enough to make the room hum. Finally, she spoke, her voice low. I don't know what to believe anymore. And that's the problem. When trust is gone, it don't matter what the truth is, you can't tell the difference between a lie and a confession. The words hit like a hammer, drawing a chorus of facts from the crowd. And then, the producers pulled the twist they had been hiding. Well, Kirk, Rasheeda, Jasmine isn't the only one with something to say tonight. The screen behind them flickered on, and suddenly there was Logan. Live via video call, his face hard, his tone icy. Y'all keep letting Jasmine play this game, but the truth is, she playing all sides. I got the receipts. She been messaging me too. Laughing about how she got both of y'all dancing to her tune. The audience gasped. Phones flew into the air, and Rasheeda's eyes widened. Kirk snapped his head toward the screen, shouting, Man, you lying. Logan smirked. Check your girl's DMS, Kirk. She been running this circus. And you, the clown in the middle. The studio erupted into chaos. The host scrambled to calm the crowd, but it was useless. Fans were screaming, chanting, debating in real time. Rasheeda covered her face with her hands, tears leaking out despite her effort to hold them back. The camera zoomed in mercilessly. I'm done, she whispered. I can't keep living in this loop. The host pressed her gently. Rasheeda, are you saying this is the end? She lifted her head, mascara streaking, but her voice was iron. I love Kirk, I'll always love him. But love don't heal wounds. Love don't erase humiliation. And love damn sure don't mean being disrespected over and over. So yes, this is the end. The audience went wild. Cheers, sobs, standing ovations. Kirk looked broken, slumped in his chair, his voice barely a whisper. Don't do this, please. But Rasheeda stood, smoothing her suit, and walked off the stage without another word. The cameras followed her every step, the crowd chanting her name like she was walking into history. Backstage, Yandy and Spice rushed to hug her, shielding her from the chaos. You did it, sis, Yandy whispered. You finally chose yourself. Meanwhile, Kirk sat alone under the harsh lights of the stage, abandoned, the boos of the audience still ringing in his ears. But just as the credits began to roll, Jasmine herself crashed the scene, strutting onto the stage in a red dress, uninvited, unfazed. She grabbed a mic. Oh, y'all thought this was over. No, baby. This is just the beginning. The truth about Kirk Frost ain't done spilling yet. The audience lost their minds. Security rushed forward, producers screamed into headsets, and the screen went black with the words, "To be continued." So there you have it, the story that has every corner of Atlanta, every fan of love and hip-hop, and every gossip blog from here to Hollywood absolutely losing their minds. Rasheeda's Instagram post wasn't just a caption, it was the match that lit a fire nobody can put out. From Kirk's stammering confessions, to Jasmine's late-night live, to Logan storming back into the picture, like a ghost from the past, it all exploded in front of the cameras. And when Rasheeda finally stood up, tears in her eyes but steel in her voice, and said she was choosing herself, that wasn't just reality TV, that was history. Fans are still reeling. Some are screaming Team Rasheeda forever. Others are swearing Kirk deserves one last chance. And then there are those who think Jasmine hasn't even revealed the half of it yet. What side are you on? Because if one thing is clear after the last Frost interview, it's that this story is far from finished. Think about it, Jasmine crashing the set at the very end, strutting out in red and daring to say, this is just the beginning. What did she mean? Does she have more receipts? More texts? More secrets she's been hiding for the perfect moment? And if she does, is Kirk ready to face that storm, or is Rasheeda finally gone for good? And let's not forget Logan. His sudden return has fans asking if he's the missing puzzle piece, or just another opportunist playing the same messy game. Was he telling the truth when he said Jasmine has been pulling everyone's strings? Or was that just another layer of smoke and mirrors? These are the questions the world is demanding answers to. And you better believe the next chapter is already being written. But let's be real, this isn't just a Frost family crisis. This is a cultural moment. This is fans in their living rooms screaming at the TV. This is Twitter threads with thousands of comments. This is Instagram posts getting shared across the globe. The streets of Atlanta are buzzing. The blogs are exploding. and everybody has an opinion. And now, I want to hear yours. Drop down in the comments and tell me, should Rasheeda walk away for good? Or is there still hope for her and Kirk? Do you think Jasmine's telling the truth? Or is she just playing the long game for clout? And what about Logan, hero, villain, or just another messy twist in this never-ending saga? Make sure you hit that like button if you were glued to this story from beginning to end. Because trust me, more tea is coming. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Because the next update in this saga might drop any minute. And you do not want to be the last one to find out what happens when the cameras roll again. Because if history has taught us anything, it's that with the Frosts, nothing stays quiet for long. Today it's Instagram posts, tomorrow it's leaked messages, and the day after that, who knows? Maybe a shocking reunion, maybe a brand new betrayal, maybe the kind of twist that makes the entire internet stop in its tracks. This isn't the end. This is only part of the chaos. And you watching right now, you're part of the story too. Every comment you leave, every reaction you post, every debate you have with your friends, it all feeds into the fire that keeps this drama alive. So don't just watch from the sidelines. Jump in, take a stand, be part of the conversation. Until the next chapter breaks, keep your eyes open, keep your phones charged, and keep your notifications on, because Rasheeda, Kirk, Jasmine, and now even Logan, they're not done. And the only question left is, are you ready for what's coming next? Like, comment, subscribe, stay tuned. The tea is only getting hotter.